We begin today the Gemara on Daf Chofei Medalef, 3 lines from the top of the page. The Gemara begins here with an Ibaya, and then we'll try to bring Rayas from our Mishnah to resolve this Shaila. Ibaya Luhu. So the Shaila was asked, Toiveres al das, a woman that is not following the halachas that she's supposed to. Rashi here says das means das Yehudis. There's the halachas of a Jewish woman. She says, for example, she's not being tzniistic properly, she goes out with her hair uncovered and she's in the street talking to people. The Gemara in Ksubas brings different things that Chazal instituted, that's das Yehud is the way a woman should behave. So she's not following these things. So the question is, tzricha hasra lahavsida ksubasa? Does she have to be warned before her husband will divorce her and she'll lose the rights to her ksubah? Or she does not have to be warned for this, and the husband can divorce her and he doesn't have to give her the ksubah because it's her fault that she's getting divorced here, even without a warning. What's the shaila? Mi amrina, and do we say, kivin deiveres al dasi, since she's the one that's not listening to these laws, these halachas that Chazal established, so leibayasra, so then it's her fault and she loses her ksubah and there's no warning that's needed. Or perhaps to bayasra, she should be warned, the hadraba tehedaba. So she should be given a chance to do tshuva, and then if she does tshuva, and then the husband can't divorce her. So she does have to be given that chance. I think I saw some say that the basis of the Gemara's shaila over here is when a husband divorces a wife that's not acting modestly with this tznius, is the reason that he divorces her is because of the suspicion that she already must have had a relation with someone else. So it's already sort of after the fact. So there's really no reason and no point to divorce her because her behavior shows what she's doing. Or that this kind of behavior is a concern about how she may act in the future, that she may have a relation with someone else in the future. So there still is a point of warning her and having her do tshuva. So here the Gemara brings the Mishnah that we learned in the beginning of the Perek to try to resolve this shaila. Toshma, the Mishnah said, Arusa b'shemeres yavam. So both of them, they're not fully married. Arusa is the first stage of marriage. Shemeres yavam is anticipating to get married to the brother of her husband that passed away without children, and she's not yet married to him. So the Mishnah said, Loi shaisais, v'loi neitlis ksuba. So they don't drink the waters of the Sotah, but at the same time though, they will not be getting any ksuba either, because they are at fault for their behavior for the fact that they are getting divorced. So what do we see from a Mishnah? Mishtahu d'loi shasya. They don't drink the waters of the Sotah, but hakinuya maknila. But the other stages of the Sotah, the fact that the husband warns her, and then she goes and she's secluded with someone, and then because of that the husband divorces her, those aspects of the Sotah do apply, that the husband warns her. Now the question is, Lamai, why is the husband warning her if anyways he can't follow through with her drinking the waters of the Sotah? Lav, don't you think the reason is Lav sidak subasa? He's warning her because only if he warns her will she be losing her ksubah. As the Mishnah says, she loses her ksubah, but if he did not warn her, she would not lose her ksubah. So I see here that there has to be a warning. And so the same thing should apply by the Iveres al das, that the husband divorces her, but it's only after a warning. Amar Abaye, so Abaye answers, no. Over here in our Mishnah, there's a different reason why he warns her. La'isra alaf, he's warning her that because of this warning, and now she was secluded with someone, she now becomes asr to live with her husband. True, she doesn't drink the waters of the Sotah, but she becomes asr, and that isr is only after the warning. Rav Papa says there could be another reason why the husband is warning her, even though in this stage of Arusa or Shemeres Yavam, she's anyways not drinking the waters of the Sotah. And that is, La'ashkaisa Keshehi Nesua, that he will be able to then give her to drink the waters of the Sotah if he goes and marries her. Kedetanya, as we learned in Abraise, Ein Maknin Arusa, La'ashkaisa Keshehi Arusa, the husband can't warn his wife, which is only an Arusa, to give her to drink the waters of the Sotah when she's still only an Arusa. Avol Maknin La'arusa, the husband warns his wife in Arusa, La'ashkaisa Keshehi Nesua, and then he'll be able to give her to drink the waters of the Sotah after he fully marries her. That's the purpose of warning her, but not necessarily is the warning for having her lose the ksubah. So there's no raya here regarding the shaila we have, whether the Iveres al das needs a warning or not. Amar Rav says, Toshema, here, let's bring a raya from another case, mentioned in the Mishnah. Almana l'kayin gadol, grusha v'chalutza l'kayin hedyet. So these are cases that these are women that are not allowed to be married to this man. It's a isra for kayin gadol to marry an almana, or the kayin hedyet to marry the grusha or chalutza. Or mamzeres and the sinali Yisrael, the Mamzeres, which may not marry into Klal Yisrael, or the Nesina, which are from the Givainim in the time of Yeshua, that may not marry into Klal Yisrael. Or the same in the reverse here, Bas Yisrael, a regular Jewish girl that's married to Lamamzer or Lenosin, also not allowed to be married to them. So because they're not allowed to be married, Lo Shaisais, so the halacha of drinking the waters of the Sotah does not apply. But at the same time, when they get divorced, because it's their negative behavior that's causing this, so they don't get a ksuba either. So what do we see here? The same diak the Gemara says. So the waters of the Sotah they don't drink. But the other stages of the Sotah, starting with the fact that the husband warns, that does apply here. So now the question is, why is the husband warning his wife? Ulamai, what's the point of the warning? If he's warning them, if the case here is, again, he's warning them because now that he warned them, if they went and they were secluded with someone else, they will be usher to live with him, like the Gemara suggested before, but that's not necessary. These are women that are anyways usher to be living with their husband. So that's not what this kinui is coming to accomplish. Don't you think, what is the warning here all about? The warning is just for this, that she could only lose her ksuba if she got a warning. So we see over here that you don't lose the ksuba without a warning. So we should apply the same thing to the shaila we had regarding Ivera Saldas, that she'll only lose the ksuba if she got warned. So Rav Yehuda says, no, not necessarily. Over here the warning is for a different reason. La'isra, lebayel, or the Bachas Gaid is abayel kebal. The warning over here is that after this warning, she now will never be able to marry this bayel. For example, if her husband dies or her husband divorces her. So after this warning, and she went and she was secluded with this man, she'll never be able to go and marry that man. And where do we know that this is an Isser? So here it's later here in the Masechta, the Tanan, we learned in the Mishnah later that says, Kishem shasura lebal, kach asura lebayel. Just like after the kinui and the stira, she becomes asa to live with her husband, she also becomes asa to ever marry this man again. And that's the point over here of this woman being warned not to lose the ksuba, not to become asa to her husband because she's already asa for him, but to be asa to this man, to ever marry him. Rab Chanina from Sotah says, going to the last case of our Mishnah, Toshama, let's bring a raya from what the Mishnah said. Ve'elu shebezdin makna lahem. Here are cases where the bezdin will warn this woman. Mishin is charish baila, her husband is a deaf mute, or he lost his mind, he's imprisoned, and now the husband's not here to warn her. And so the bezdin has to warn her about her behavior, not to be secluded with a man. Now the Mishnah said, the reason the bezdin is warning is not because you can follow through and give her to drink the waters of the Sotah. The only reason bezdin is warning her is because if she won't listen, and then the husband will come and divorce her, she's going to lose the rights to her ksuba. So Shmami no, boy yasra. So the Mishnah says this very clearly, that the only way she loses her ksuba is because the bezdin is warning her. That's the purpose of the bezdin warning her. Shmami no. So this is a clear raya to our shaila, the same by a woman that's a veres aldas, that she only loses her ksuba if her husband warned her. So now the Gemara wants to know, if this last case in the Mishnah is such a clear raya, v'kulu, the other Amayroim that attempted to bring rayas from earlier cases in the Mishnah, my time why didn't they bring the raya from this Mishnah, this part of the Mishnah? It clearly says that the warning is in order to have her lose the ksuba. So the Gemara answers the reason is because Amri they say miha dilme. Again, sorry, I went back a few words here. My time Amri miha. That's part of the question. So the Gemara answers that dilme shani hasam the lesle aimse the balklal. Over here, the reason why she has to get a warning is because her husband is away, he's in prison, or he lost his mind, he can't communicate with her. So the fact that this woman is behaving in this kind of a way doesn't necessarily prove that she's a real prutza, that this is something that's, we can say that, like Rashi uses the term pritzis yiseira, that she's really misbehaving to this extent. It's just nebuch harachmanis on her. Her husband's not around, so she ends up getting herself into trouble. So therefore, we have to have bezdin warning her in order to really prove the point that no, she's a prutza. She got a warning and she's still behaving this way, and therefore she's going to lose her ksuba. But in a regular situation where her husband is around and she still is behaving this way, we don't need the husband's warning to prove that she's a prutza. The fact that she's behaving this way is enough for her to be losing her ksuba. Another shaila the Gemara asks, Siboyeluhu Yoiveres al das. A woman that's not following the das Yehudis, V'rotza Baal Kaima. Now the halacha is, Yoiveres al das, the husband has to divorce her. This is the halacha the Mishnah says during Ksubis. But what happens if she is Yoiveres al das, she's not behaving tzniizdik, but the husband decides, I'm okay, I want to continue living with her. V'rotza Baal Kaima. Mekaima or Yena Mekaima. Is he allowed to continue living with her or not? Okay? So most Mefarshim say that it's mashma from the Gemara that this question only applies regarding Geveres al das Yehudis, which are certain things Chachamim instituted regarding a woman's behavior. But there's another thing that the Mishnah in Ksubis there talks about, and it calls it Geveres al das Moshe. When she's not taking maisres, she's not keeping the halachas of kashrus, and a husband can't live with his wife, she feeds him things that are not kosher. In such a case, it seems like the Gemara doesn't have a question, and for sure the husband must divorce her. So what's the shaila here regarding this woman? Mi amirinon, do we say, b'kpeide de baal tolerachmana? That the point here is that it's all really dependent, just like we see regarding a Sotah, that it's really placed into the hands of the husband. A husband could decide, he sees the way his wife behaves. He could decide to warn her and then make her usher on him, or not. He doesn't warn her and then she will not be usher to him. So just like we see by a Sotah, it's in the husband's hands. So over here as well, v'holei kapit. So over here, if he's not particular and he wants to continue living with her, even if she's a veres al das, he may. Or perhaps we should say, kivin the kapit. And what this means is, since usually a husband is particular about this, he is makbid. So over here in this case, whether he says he wants to live with her or not, it doesn't matter. This is considered to be a kepeda, that a husband cannot live with a wife like this that's not behaving according to the halachas of tznius. Says the Gemara Tashama, let's bring a rai from our Mishnah. The Mishnah said, Ve'elu shebezdin maknelem. These are women that the bezdin will warn her. Mishin is charish baila. If the husband is a cheresh, a deaf mute, a nishtata, he lost his mind, the shayachavish beveis hasurim, or the husband is in prison. So the bezdin is warning. Now the question is, V'i amrit ratza bala kaima mekaima. If you're going to say that if the husband wants, he has the choice to continue living with her, even if she's not following the halachas. So of the bezdin midi, can bezdin warn her and cause something that perhaps the husband is not even interested in her being warned and becoming usher to him and forcing him to divorce her? How could the bezdin step into the place of the husband if they don't know what the husband's choice would be? Maybe he would want to continue living with her. So the Gemara answers that's not a raya, because Stamid the Milsa, the usual is that kivin daiveres al das, that since she's not following the basic halachas that are required of a woman, he meinech nichale. So he's happy with the fact that Bezdin is going to warn her and then answer her on him. So therefore the Bezdin could follow the stomach. But in a case where the husband is around, possibly, he can still decide for himself whether he wants to continue living with her or not. So the Gemara does not resolve this ibaya. Ibayaluhu, another shaila, Baal Shemochal al Kinuye. Coming back to the case of a Sotah. A husband that warned his wife, and then we'll see soon in the Gemara at what stage this mechila happened, but let's just talk about the fact that he warned his wife. But now, he wants to forgive this that he warned her, and let's make believe as if I never warned you, so you won't become asa to me. Kinuya machal. So could he be machal on this warning? Or ain't a machal? Or once he warned her, it's too late. A certain status takes effect that this is a warned woman. And now, if she secludes with someone or she gets into this trouble, then she'll be usher to him. Me, Amirian, do I say, Bekinui de Baal, Talarachmana. We see that the whole status of a Sotah is all dependent on him. If he decides to warn her. So therefore, Baal, Hamachaleli Kinuye. So therefore, even after he warned her, we still say that it's dependent on him. And if he decides to forgive it, so then it's like he never warned her. Or maybe we should say, Kivin the Kanile me kare, once he already made that decision and he already went ahead and warned her, that choice he's not given. That's too late, and therefore he can't be Michael on the skinning. Says the Gemara again, the same part of the Mishnah, we can try to prove this. Tashema, the Mishnah said, Bezdin steps in and warns this woman. Whether the husband is a deaf mute or lost his mind or is in prison. So the Bezdin steps in and warns her. Now the question is, how could Bezdin do that? That a husband, even if he could warn his wife, but he always has the option to forgive that warning. So we're going to do something, we're going to step in and do this for the husband, and then the Baal, it's his choice, he can be Meichel this, so what the Bezdin does is really not valid at all. So why should Bezdin step in and do this for this man? And so the Gemara again, the same point as we said before, Stama de Milsa, the reason why Bezdin steps in is because we rely on the Stama, we rely on what's usual. Adam maskim al das Bezdin. The person will agree to what Bezdin did. The person's not going to come and undo this kinui, this warning of the Bezdin. So therefore Bezdin goes ahead and warns her. So it says the Gemara Tashama here. Let's bring a raya from a Mishnah earlier in the Masechta. Says when the husband travels with his wife to bring it to the Beis Hamikdash, so we have two Talmidei Chachamim to accompany them, and the reason is Shama Yavei Aleh B'derech, because they have to be sure that the husband didn't have any relation with her on the way. Because if you're not going to be sure about that, she'll drink the waters of the Sotah, and the waters of the Sotah are not going to work, and nobody is going to know why. And the truth is, he had a relation with her on the way. So we have to be sure that if she's going to drink the waters of the Sotah, that the husband didn't have any relation with her on the way. Now, says the Gemara, if you're going to say that the husband has the ability to be meichel on this that he warned her, and the mechila takes effect, so then what's the point of these Talmidei Chachamim being with him to say eidos to know, to be sure that he didn't have a relationship with her? What does it make a difference? The husband has the option to be meichel this warning, and then that's it. She's not a Sotah anymore, and then he could just live with her. So what's the point of having these people come along as an edus for this? So the Gemara answers, no, that's not a problem. That's not a question at all. What's the reason why? We can say, the Mishnah here said that we don't just send two people to be edim for this, but it has to be Talmidei Chachamim. The Gemara earlier was medayik this already. So here the Gemara says another pshat. We can say, you know why it has to be Talmidei Chachamim? The Gemiri, that they know the halacha, the ibaylim mival, if he wants to live with his wife, amri lei, so then they know the halacha to tell him, achle likinuyech, you have to be meichel your warning, and then a bala, and then he's allowed to be bailer. Right, so that's exactly what I have to be Talmidei Chachamim, to let him know that as long as she's a Sotah, you're not allowed to live with her. But if you'll be meichel your kinu, you're allowed. So therefore there's no raya from here. Possibly the husband could still be meichel his warning. So the Gemara now brings Toshima a raya from a clear Braise that says this halacha. The Braise says, the Omer Rabbi Yeshia said, Shloisha dvarim, 3 different halachas, Sachli Zeira me'anshi Yerushalayim. Zeira from the people of Yerushalayim taught me, or told me. One is Baal Shemachal al Kinuyai Kinuya Machal. A husband that forgave this that he warned his wife, so it's forgiven. The Kinuy is removed. We clearly see this halacha that he could be Meichel. Then another halacha, Zaken Mamre Sheratzu Bezdin Limchaloi Meichel. A Zaken Mamre, which is a person that went against the Bezdin. We're talking about the Bezdin in the Beis Hamikdash of 71 and the Lishkas Hagazis, and he paskined against them. So his punishment is actually Chenek, Misa. So, but if the Bezdin decides that they want to be Meichel this, that he went against them, so they can be Meichel this. And also, third halacha, of Ben Seirer Umayre, a Ben Seirer Umayre, which is a child that's doing things against his parents and different things, the halacha that brings a child to be a Ben Seirer Umayre. So this is all only if the parents bring him to the Bezdin. So if the parents want to be Meichel this, they could also be Meichel. This is the halacha that Zeiri taught. These three scenarios where mechila takes effect. So Rabbi Yeshua says, and when I came to my friends in the south, al shnayim hoiduli. So regarding 2 of these halachas, they agreed to me, but val zakim mamre lehoiduli. Regarding the halacha of zakim mamre, they did not agree. But for zakim mamre, the Bezdin cannot be meichel this that he paskined against them, and the reason is shelo yarbu machlokes b'Yisrael. In order not to have a lot of machlokes amongst Yidden, because we want that the Bezdin, this is the concept of zakim mamre. But once the Bezdin paskins, you can't go and decide to do against the Bezdin. And if the Bezdin could be meichel, so then people in the Bezdin, what are they going to think to themselves? The Zaken is going to think to himself, I can go against the Bezdin and then I'll get a mechila. We don't want there to be any mechila, so there shouldn't be an opening for machlokes. So what do we see here clearly in this Braise? Shmami na Baal Shamachal al Kinuyai Kinuya Machal. It's clear that a husband, if he's meichel on his warning, the mechila takes effect. Shmami na. This is a clear raya for this shaila. But now the Gemara brings up here a machlokes. Up until what point could the husband be meichel on that kinui? Says the Gemara, Pligi bar Ravacha v'Ravina. Ravacha and Ravina argued about this up until what point the husband could be meichel. Chad one opinion is Kaidim Stira. That's only if it's before she was over on this warning, before she went and was secluded with a man. So then he could be Meichel on his warning. But La'achas Stira, once she was already secluded with someone, Ein Machel. And it's too late, the husband can't be Meichel anymore. But another opinion is La'achas Stira Nami Machel. Even after she was over on the warning and she was secluded with someone, but the husband could still be Meichel on the warning and she won't be a Sotah. Says the Gemara, Umistavre Kemanda Ama Einu Machel. It's logical, like the opinion that says that that's too late. After she was already over and she was nistar with someone, the husband cannot be Meichel anymore. From where do we prove this? That then it's too late. And here, this is from the following conversation that we have in a Braise that was already quoted before in the Gemara, from the response that the Rabbanan said to Rabbi Yosi. So the Tanya, we learned in the Braise as follows. Rabbi Yosi says, Baila Neman Aleh, the husband alone is believed to say, and when his wife is a Sotah and he's together with his wife a Sotah, the husband is believed to say that I didn't have any relation with her. Why do we believe the husband regarding the case of a Sotah? So Rabbi Yosi says, Mikal v'chaymer. I can prove it with a kal v'chaymer. Uman nida, if a husband that's living with his wife, which is a nida, shehi b'karis, and for him to have a relationship with her as a karis, by law neman aleh, nevertheless, we trust the husband alone living with her. Sotah, she belav, by a Sotah, where it's not such a severe isser, it's only a lav, definitely we should trust the husband alone to say that he didn't live with her. That's the proof of Rabbi Yosi, a kal v'chaymer. Now, Amrullah, what was the response of the Rabbanan to this? The Rabbanan say, Loi, you can't prove anything from a nida, because Amrit bin nida, if you say by a nida that the husband is believed, the reason is sheken yesh lo heter, because that isser of the husband to live with his wife, a nida, has a heter, so therefore he can wait. So we believe him that he waits. Taimar b'Sotah, on the other hand, when it comes to a Sotah, she'en lo heter, possibly there's no heter at all. She's going to drink the waters of the Sotah and he'll never be able to live with her again. So therefore, this is a case that the husband cannot be believed that he didn't have any relationship with her. That was the response of the Rabbana. Now says the Gemara, V'i amred, but if you're going to say that la'achas tireh mochel, that this that we said that a husband could be mochel his warning. This is even after she was secluded with another man. And still, the husband could undo this whole thing. He could take away the warning, and therefore she's not a Sotah. So mishkachas la yesh la heter. So then even by a Sotah, there is a possibility for a heter. So it's similar to a nida. Because the boy machal el kinuya yubal. As we said before, he could be machal his kinuya, and then he could live with her again. So it is compared to a nida, and therefore the kal v'chaymer of Rabbi Yosi is a good kal v'chaymer. So from this response of the Rabbana, what this proves is la'achas tireh eino machal. After she already was secluded with someone, that's too late, and then the husband can't be meichel this shma mina. This is a clear raya to this halacha that there is a mechila, but only before the stira, not after the stira. Going back to the Mishnah said meisu baleyan. So here you have a Sotah, and she did not drink the waters of the Sotah yet, and the husband passed away. Actually, before she drank. So Bishamai chulud, what did it say in our Mishnah? Bishamai say that, second, read the lashon of the Mishnah, noitleis ksubah v'loy shaisais, that she can't drink, her husband is not alive anymore, but she does get her ksubah, even though she may have had a relation with another man. And if she was mizana with another man, she loses her ksubah, but she never drank the waters of the Sotah, and it's not her fault that she can't drink it, her husband died, so he gets her ksubah. Beisilul argues. Beisilul says that she's a Sotah, and it's a suffix. Could be she had a relation with another man. True, now her husband died and she can't drink from the waters of the Sotah, but she will not get her ksubah. So the Gemara explains this argument. What's the basis of this machlokes? So Beishamai Savri, Beishamai hold shtar ha'imid ligbois kegovi domi. When you have a document that is there to collect money with this document, like a loan. You have a loan and the person has a document to collect his loan. It's as if it's already collected. Right? What does this mean? So this is by a regular shtar chayv, and there's a shibud because you have this document, so therefore there's a lien on the properties that belong to the lender. So this shibud is so powerful that it's as if these properties are already in his possession. So how do we apply that over here? Over here, this man passes away, and now the wife is a Sotah, and it's unclear what the halacha is. Do the children inherit their father, or does this wife get the ksubah? So what the children are going to say to her is, look, or actually what the wife is going to say to the children is, I have a chazaka here. Because I have a ksubah, which is a document to collect my ksubah, that document is as if it's already collected. It's as if I'm already the one that's muhsik. It's in my possession. What's the rule when you have something in your possession and now there's a suffix? Now there's a suffix. The children are arguing and saying, maybe you were mezaneh and therefore you don't deserve to get this ksubah. So she turns back to them and says, if it's a situation of a suffix, because I have the document, the ksubah in my hands, it's as if I collected it already. And the suffix, so we can't determine that suffix because she can't drink from the waters of the Sotah anymore. But we're going to say, she can keep that ksubah money. But Beis opinion is, when you have a document that's there to collect with it, so yes, there's a document and there's a lien, but nevertheless, it's not as if it's already collected. And therefore, all the properties of this inheritance here are in the possession of the Yisayimim, not of this woman. And therefore, they are definitely Yarshim. She is actually only a suffix if she deserves this ksubah. Because could be she's a Sotah, and could be she was Mezaneh, and if she was Mezaneh, she doesn't get anything. So because she's a suffix, so therefore, in such a case, she's a suffix, and the children are Vada Yisayimim, and therefore she can't collect, she can't take this ksubah from them. And therefore, Lav Kagavi Domi, it's a suffix. Ve'ein suffix, Rashi over here says that we apply the rule of ein suffix moitzi midei vadai, because there's a suffix that she may have been mezaneh, so therefore she can't be moitzi from the vadai children, and she's going to have to bring a rai that she wasn't mezaneh. That's the pshat in Beisil's opinion. Okay, so we're not the Amud Beis over here. This goes into the whole next Gemara here, and Daf Chavav. We'll leave that in Mitzvah Shem for next time.